What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk to you about Healthy Choices Management, tickers HCMC. So I want to go over some of the recent updates, including their recent earnings, what it's saying, and when it's alluding to the actual spin-off occurring. So I'm going to go over all that, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So when it comes to HCMC, it has been barcoding for a very long time. A lot of people are just waiting for the spin-off date, I guess the new ex-dividend date, because the last thing that they did signal it was going to be in April, which prompted it actually to go up. A lot of people were buying so that way they can get more HCWC shares, but since then they did allude that there's going to be a new record date. They haven't given it yet though, so a lot of people are just patiently waiting for that to occur. And when it comes down to it, like I said, I'm a little bit late to the game, but November the 14th is when they did come out with their Q3 earnings, and so net sales did go up about 120% year over year. Other than that, there isn't really much to talk on that's kind of beneficial. My own opinion, not a financial advisor, of course. So I wanted to go over some of the highlights, because it's one thing just reading this that is coming out from the company. It's another to read what is actually said within this. So starting off, as you can kind of see, there's about 7.1 million in cash and cash equivalents, which on a year over year basis, it was previously 30. So it went down dramatically. I don't see them kind of bringing that up whatsoever in their highlights on how much cash they do have. And this is where I have an issue with HCMC. And so when it comes to HCMC having about 7.1 million in cash and cash equivalents, but yet they burnt about 3.3 million just within that quarter, it does signal that they are going to be out of money by probably the end of Q1 of 2024. And it is very convenient that they did submit a new S1 right here, so offering, and that is going to be concluding on March the 1st, 2024. But this money right here is for the actual spin-off. So they're going to be diluting through HCMC for money for HCWC, which again is going to be concluding on March the 1st. And at that same time, this is when they will be out of money, because if you do the basic math, just 2 more quarters of this, assuming they keep everything the same, then they are going to be out of money. So as sketchy as this company has been in the past, because as you can kind of see, just insiders have just been massively selling ever since March. Management has jumped ship virtually just in their head. They have checked out of HCMC. They want a fresh start, and this is probably why they did the whole spin-off or the 4-point plan that was announced August of 2022. It has been a very long time, and still within obviously their earnings, they are still signaling New York Stock Exchange, which I do completely disagree with. I don't think that they qualify for that, but then again, what do I know, right? So ultimately within here, I do feel that the spin-off date is going to be March the 1st, 2024. And potentially their actual new record date is most likely going to be about 30 to 60 days prior to that. So in January, we'll be able to find out when the new record date is, and that is where you'll be able to do that whole spin-off into HCWC. That's where you're going to get the class A and B. I've already done a couple of videos on that. But once again, based on this is one thing that's been bothering me. So with this recent earnings, it clearly does show that they do not have a profitable business. And one thing that really stood out to me, and I've kind of brought this up time and time again, is initially when they announced their 4-point plan in 2022, they said they were going to take this unprofitable business and spin it off. And they actually had the balls to say that it was going to be profitable. How on earth were they expecting a company to spin off and automatically be profitable? That makes zero sense to me. And I've questioned that time and time again. This just makes absolutely no sense. And one thing that also has really bothered me is initially during their 4-point plan, it was only going to be the qcup, the actual vape store, and the intellectual properties staying with HCMC. It was going to be the grocery chain and the wellness center going to be spun off. But since then, they did provide updates, and the vape store is going to be part of that new spinoff now. But yet, they aren't capitalizing on it. So they didn't do anything last quarter, as you can kind of see right here. Absolutely nothing. So why are they moving the vape store? I really like the vape store because even even if you look right here, you can tell it is very, very profitable. Just looking on the sales, small amounts, but you're kind of looking on a percentage basis. So vape sales versus the cost to obtain those sales, like it's almost about 300% markup, versus if you're looking at the grocery sales and the cost associated to the groceries, like there's hardly any markup. So I've never really been a fan of investing in grocery chains. I actually did get in because of the lawsuit and whatever else. That's beside the point. That seems like eternity ago. But no matter what though, this is just, I feel like their management just does not know what the hell is up and down. Like this makes no sense. Unless they plan on really incorporating and pushing the vape sales, but why not do it right now? Do they not want extra money for HCMC? Because like I said, it does signal everything is falling in line for them to bleed the company completely dry. And then when it comes down to it, just take all the profitable assets and spin it off, leaving HCMC with ultimately the lawsuit, or I guess now 2 lawsuits, and that's basically it. And once again, it is to note that this 30 million was derived on the backs of shareholders. Shareholders bought that. They issued it, and obviously they kind of piggybacked off of the whole momentum from the lawsuit, saying, hey, we need money for blah, 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 whatever else it was. And a lot of people were more than happy to do that. And as sad as that is, I think that was even at 0.0025 or 224 or something like that, somewhere around there. And obviously, given where we are, those individuals that did buy in are at a 99% loss. So very crappy scenario on how this all did turn out. And even if we zoom out over the last 5 years, I think the actual issuance was somewhere around here, if I remember correctly. And no matter what though, this whole S1 that they did announce right here, this is also equally as problematic because they're just trying to dilute. HCMC is going to get the blunt of the damage, and their actual spin-offs of HCWC is going to get all the money. So once again, not the best. And as backwards as it is, if you actually do pop onto Reddit, occasionally I do, you oddly see a lot of people saying that the risk versus reward is in favor for HCMC, which I don't understand that whatsoever. So there's quite a lot of people that is very optimistic about HCMC. Clearly not the individual right here. So HCMC has robbed so many shareholders, which I do completely agree 1,000,000%. But again, oddly, I don't understand what the actual optimism is. The company is bleeding itself. So even if they take those assets, spin it off, that company is still going to be extremely profitable. And given the market circumstances, like if it goes to New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ, the market's just going to slam that to the ground. It is going to go down probably about 75% within the first 2 quarters. My own estimate, of course. But again, like this whole circumstance and them changing the ex-dividend date is just, I don't know. I'm surprised there isn't a lawsuit against HCMC. But then again, I guess if you kind of look at this, there hardly is any money left over. So for those people that did get in, like, I don't know. So let me know your thoughts on HCMC. Give yourself a shout out. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? What have you been doing with HCMC? And do you agree with me? Do you think the spinoff is going to occur Q1 of 2024? Or do you think that it is never going to occur? Because like I've said, technically it doesn't really qualify for New York Stock Exchange. It can go to the NASDAQ, but I don't know why they constantly always talk about New York Stock Exchange for whatever reason. So I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And one final thing I just wanted to share with you, take advantage of this promo. It is only up until November the 30th, but sign up for an account with Moon, throw $100 at it and you get 5 free stocks. Each stock can be valued up to $2,000. So amazing deal. Link in the description below and also the comments. Plus any cash that you do have in this account, you're going to be earning 5.1% APY. So that is an amazing deal. Link in the description below and also the comments. But with all that said, I appreciate all of you watching.